DIKO is a secure, reliable, feature-filled electronic document record management system that can support your end-to-end data requirements completely. It offers a knowledge repository to protect and manage the captured information. In this video, we'll be going over some of the advanced functions of DIKO. We will be going over the following topics: how the project's template works and how it can save time, how role management works with permissions and user groups to control a corporation's privacy by sector, ownership transfer and adding a new user and group, casual, named, and concurrent users, or the different types of DIKO users. Lastly, we have system groups and their functionalities. In the main folder view, you can see Projects Template folder just below the Personal folder. Select the Projects Template folder and go to New Item, New Folder to create a new Projects Template folder. We will call it Test. You can even add a display category for templates. Let's look at the Year Invoice folder. Under it, you can see January to December folders, which were created in the same way that we created the Test folder. Also inside the January folder, you can see there is a test document inside of it. Whatever you customize or add to the template folders will be a part of the template, which means that all documents and customizations will be there when you apply the template folder to a real folder. Let's take a look at how to apply the template folders. Simply choose a folder within the corporate library and add a folder like you normally would. Let's call it Invoice for 2020. The only difference is, before you save the folder, you must select a template folder in the drop-down menu here, then Save. Now we can take a look at the Invoice 2020 folder, which has all the customizations and added documents inside of it. This function, Projects Template, can save you lots of time by cutting the time you need to create duplicate copies of the same folders, like if you have invoice for each year or even if you have certain sales formats. Let's take a look at the next topic. Under System, Role Management, you can see that we have 13 different permissions, each with a very specific task or purpose. For example, Visible gives the permission to a folder or file to be visible to the selected users or groups. Browse Content gives the permission to browse the contents of the files or folders. We have a video as well as user manual explaining each of the 13 roles in detail. The video will be linked in the description, but in this video we are just going to explain how to help your corporation's privacy per sector. Let's take a look at the Finance User and Finance Manager roles. They are both the finance sector, but have different permissions. Finance users can see and browse, whilst the Finance Manager can do all 13 permissions. This is intended for the Finance Manager to be able to manage and the users to be able to use. To apply this to a sector, let's go back to the corporate library. As you can see, we have a finance folder specifically created for the finance sector to use. In our scenario, we do not want other sectors like sales or human resources to interact with or even see the finance folder, as it is classified. Right-click into the finance folder and select Permissions. We can add the Finance Manager, Manager 1, with the role of Finance Manager by doing the following. But before we add each finance user one by one, let's try to add them by group, so it saves us a lot of time. Exit here by clicking Cancel or the X. Next, go to System, User Group Management. Our goal is to add all of the finance department into one group so we can give them all the same role. So click New Group and type in the group name as Finance and save. Now under General Groups, you will see the Finance group. Go back to All Users and drag and drop the Finance Department users into the group one by one, or you can check all of the Finance Department and drag them all into the group at once. Next, we can go back to the Finance folder under the Corporate Library. Right-click the folder and click Permission. Now we can click Add Group. Check the Finance group and under the drop-down menu, Add as Role. Give it to the Finance user's permission. Lastly, delete all other unwanted groups and users, and you now have a fully private folder specifically for the Finance department, with users having 2 permissions and managers having all 13 permissions. Now the managers can manage and the users can use, and non-department people will not even be able to see the folder. You may log on with a new user to confirm that you cannot see the folder. We will now create a new user under System User Group Management. Click New User and remember to give it a user ID that you will use to log in with. Remember to fill out all the red starred fields as they are mandatory. Optionally, you can give the user an email, which can be used with email capture and receive system emails. Under User Type, you can find that there are 2 types of users: named and casual users. If you look at the license count on the bottom though, you can see that there are 3 types though: casual, concurrent, and named. Casual is the number of users you can have in total. Concurrent is the number of users that can be logged on at the same time. Named users are the users that can be logged on no matter how many users are logged on. For example, a company has 100 staff. 50 of them will be using DIKO, 20 of them accessing DIKO at the same time. The boss and secretary will need to access DIKO at any time. That makes for 50 casual users, 20 concurrent users, and 2 named users. Back to creating a new user. We will make the user Finance User and as a casual user and save this user. Now as you can see, a new user is automatically under the group All Users, which makes sense because all of the users belong in this group. If you wanted to give it all of the groups that another user has, we can use Ownership Transfer function. It looks like this. You can just transfer from user to another user. Another thing you can do with ownership transfer is to transfer from group to another group, which means, for example, you can transfer the group All Users to Finance. Then Finance will have all of the users of DIKO in there. You may have noticed that there are users with a lot of groups. These groups are actually inside of system groups, which are the groups that were pre-made as soon as you install DIKO. Let's take a look at these functions. System admin gives you administrative privileges. Without it, you won't be able to see many of the system configuration options. Project template maintenance and project folder creation allows you to see and create and apply projects template folders. Check out document maintenance and document category maintenance are both applied when you are in the system admin group. Otherwise, checkout document gives you a function under system, admin check-in, to check in or export all the checked out files in case someone forgot to check them out. Lastly, document category maintenance allows you to change a document's category, and it looks like this. To sum it up, in this video, we learned the following functionalities: how the project's template works and how it can save time, how role management works with permissions and user groups to control a corporation's privacy by sector, ownership transfer and adding a new user and new group, casual, named, and concurrent users, or the different types of DIKO users, system groups and their functionalities.